Hi, and welcome back to another video of the Target Individual Program, the Target Individual Experience. Today, just want to touch on a couple things. Some things I've already spoken about, but I think it's important that I have to, from time to time, go back and show or read uh, those things so that it will stay fresh in my mind and in your mind, those who are looking at these videos who are target individuals, so you guys can understand again what's being done to you. Okay. But before I get into that, I want to touch on a couple things. Okay. So you guys already know that if you're a target individual, the police are involved in your targeting. Now you hear a lot of TIs say that the police are not involved, but take it from me, and I think I've shown in my videos or through my videos that the police are involved in the psychological harassment, intimidation of the target individuals, including myself. All right, and so, and not all police, I would say. I would say that, and again, I'm talking about those police officers who have deep religious systems, who are religious believers, extremists, and who belongs to certain religious organizations, and they have created a cult, and I'm talking about a super cult, right? Using every ethnic group, every uh, most age range, from children to elderly people, and they have engaged in numerous criminal activities against uh, target individuals. And so, again, you have a lot of people, and I'm gonna talk directly to black people in particular, and Hispanic people, right? Or I'm not sure if Hispanic is the right word. Um, I would say people of South American origin, okay, and also people in the Caribbean, okay. So I'm just gonna again have to show again how police engage uh, with people of color, or black people in particular, black and brown people, and again, but not just you know, um, well, the majority is black and brown people, the vast majority, but there are a few of other people who, because of their political stance and their activism, have became or become targets of police officers who will set them up, falsely arrest them, and frame them for crimes that they didn't commit. So this article here, let me go to that article here. It's from uh, the Appeal, okay, and talks about Bronx cops celebrated as cop watchers arrest. They had no idea they were caught on tape. Okay, so the city just paid out almost $1 million to Jose Lascelles of the Cop Watch Patrol Unit, okay, in the Bronx, in which he was falsely arrested. Okay, and then they tried to charge him with a felony, but again, they were trying to figure out a way to make it stick, which they couldn't. Um, they took all of his belongings, including his phone, but what they did not know is that his phone was recording the entire thing. Okay, and so these police officers, they celebrated. They talk about paying the ADA $800 to give him a gun charge, an illegal firearm charge. Okay. Then they wanted to charge him with using his walkie-talkie to broadcast on the police channel, which was a lie. Okay. And so finally, they initially charged him with disorderly conduct and illegal processing a radio that could uh, illegal illegally possessing a radio that could transmit over police frequency. But it says here the Bronx District Attorney declined to prosecute. So he went to court, and an officer approached him, called them, and they lead him out to the back, and they told him he was free to go. Okay? So it says here, as LaSalle waited to see a judge at Central Booking, he was told to go with an officer. LaSalle curiously agreed, but the officer refused to answer when he asked, "Where are you taking me?" The officer took LaSalle to a back door, released him, told him he was free to go, and closed the door behind him. LaSalle was confused. He thought it was a setup so the NYPD could claim he attempted to escape. So again, you see the mindset of LaSalle, right? The fact that he knows what the NYPD, members of the NYPD, could do, and they've probably done it plenty of times. Okay? So it says he would later learn the NYPD had tried to charge him with disorderly conduct and illegally possessing a radio that could transmit over police frequency, but the Bronx District Attorney declined to prosecute. So he went to pick up his belongings, and then he went to meet up with some other activists, and they went to a burger joint. Then he says here, it says this was your top brass off the precinct rolling up to speak to one guy. This was while he was sitting down getting some tea, right? And they told him that they actually rearrested him, okay, brought him in to the precinct, gave him a ticket to appear before a judge, okay, and then he was released without seeing a judge again. Okay, so check this out, and I think I moved too fast here. Okay, so it says the officers, they told him he was accidentally released without seeing a judge, and took him back to Police Service Area 7 to give him a court date. LaSalle and his lawyer later learned that once LaSalle was released, several top NYPD officials called Bronx DA Clark to inform her that one of her assistant DA had made a mistake by declining to prosecute, and that LaSalle needed to be rearrested and have his charges reinstated. Back at Police Service Area 7, police asked LaSalle for the passcode to his phone. He refused. It took him back to Central Booking, where he was eventually given a desk appearance ticket that didn't even list his charges. Okay, so they arrest him, give him a ticket, right? But they never charged him with a crime. Okay, so he said so he was released again without seeing a judge. When LaSalle went to collect his belongings for a second time, the police said his 2 phones, a video camera, his 2-way radio, and a GoPro camera was being vouchered as evidence. Days later, on August 16, LaSalle and other cop watchers held a rally outside NYPD headquarters to raise awareness of what happened. So the reason why they did that, I guess they went to protest because, again, they didn't charge him with a crime. They arrested him, gave him a ticket to appear in court, and never charged him with a crime. This happens all the time for people who are targeted by the NYPD and other police officers and other police agencies across the country. Okay, across the country. So this is nothing new. And so this is why I record, and you see me record, because when it comes to interaction with police officers, me being a target of a lot of police officers who engage and participate in this criminal coercive persuasion program, I have to be very careful. Okay, and so that's why I record. Okay, now I do happen to catch a lot of these civilian perps. Okay, but I also catch the noise campaign using the police vehicles. Okay, the uh, fire department vehicles, the fire trucks, and the SUVs that they drive around in, and also the ambulances, right, with the noise campaign. So again, you know, there are people out there who want to think that the police are all good because the majority of them feel that way, but the majority of police officers are not good. Okay, it isn't something such as this, one bad rotten apple in the barrel. You know, it's many bad rotten apples in the barrel, and the few that are good eventually will become rotten. Okay, so again, this stuff happens all the time, and people want to bury their head in the sand, particularly black people and Hispanic people who attack me psychologically and participate in this coercive persuasion program, who are being controlled by these extreme religious individuals who are within law enforcement. Okay, and so let's move on to the next article, which is called Mind Control Using Sound Wave. We ask the scientists how it works. And I advise you guys to go to this website, okay? Um, the World Economic Forum, right? weforum.org, and read this article. But it talks about, it says, at the moment, non-invasive neuromodulations, changing brain activities without the use of surgery, look poised to usher in a new era of healthcare. Breakthrough could Breakthroughs could include the better management of Parkinson and Alzheimer's disease, reducing the pain of migraine, or even reversing cognitive disorder caused by brain injury. But what happened if this technique is altered? Is for what? Sorry. But what happened if this technique for altering our brainwave escape regulations and falls into the wrong hands? Imagine a dictatorial regime with access to the tricks and tools to change the way its citizens think or behave. That's the ethical battleground that Anton Jerusalem, a professor of engineering science of Oxford University, finds himself in as he researched the potential of ultrasound technologies to tackle neurological diseases and disorders. And I'm just going to read that right there and leave that right there. But again, you know, letting you guys know and understand that this stuff has been going on for decades. Okay, now the private and the economic sectors have been doing this work over the past 20 years, but the government, the CIA, the NSA, the Department of Defense, okay, uh, they've been working on this stuff for decades, okay, almost 50 decades, right? So when I talk about my family being microwave, okay, I mean that they're using microwave frequency at the same frequency as the human brain, and they basically giving command and controlling family members, my kids, uh, my two youngest, their mother, when we're being microwave, to psychologically target and harass me. Okay, and so even recently, okay, you've been being microwave very heavily. Last night, I was the other night. Again, I had massive headaches, and what the urologist calls ice pick headaches. Okay, and I get them when I'm being heavily microwave, uh, as well as being remotely neuromonitored. through the microchip implanted. And so they've been constantly targeting me that way in the past couple of days. Also, uh, being surveilled. All right. Last night there was a period in where um, I went into the kitchen, I picked up a fork. They were monitoring me in the house. Picked up the fork, car honk. I picked up the plate, car honk. I turned on the sink, car honk. I picked up the container to take food out of it, car honk. And it was to the point where, you know, I kind of felt like I didn't want to touch anything anymore. Okay. But, you know, I've been through this so many times that I just have to push through. And, and then Pam can't come in, and, again, because they're microwaving us, her attitude just definitely changed. Okay. And, she was on the phone, and then she got off the phone, went into her room, and she just bolted out of her room, went to the bathroom, and locked the door. Okay, so about 5 minutes later, she came back in the room, and then she went to the kitchen. So she was taking a very long time in the kitchen. So I went into the kitchen, and I was like, and it kind of startled her, like she didn't expect me to be in the kitchen. So I said to her, I said, "What are you doing?" And she was like, "Oh, I'm just um, playing a game and texting." Like, okay, well, you could do that in the room. You don't have to stay in the kitchen, um, to do that. And so again, my antennas went up, right? Because that, it's a red flag. Because for me, I know whenever we're being microwave, what have you, whenever they're running this program or the scheme that they're always trying to do is to cause damage between me and her. And and I was like, well, everywhere she goes in the house, she was on her tablet playing the game, and everywhere she goes in the house, she takes her phone with her. Okay, and so I was like, well, if you're texting, you don't got to leave the room. So normally, you with somebody, somebody, if they're texting another person and don't want to be around you, you're starting to think, well, what's going on? Why are you being sneaky, right? And so anyway, we got to bed, got into bed, and I went to give her, we were going to go to sleep, and I kind of wanted to hold her for a little bit, and she pushed me off of her, and she was like, "I don't want to be touched," and I was like, "What?" So anyway, got up, made my way to the living room, slept in the living room. So again, I know something was up, and then she texted me this morning like as if nothing happened. Actually, she woke up like as nothing happened. And I was like, I really wasn't really talking to her, and she was like, "Are you mad with me?" And I was like, "Listen, that's the last time you're ever gonna do that to me again, okay?" And I mean that. And then she texted me after she got to work, and she's like, "I apologize. I'm sorry. I wanted to be, you know, by myself and blah blah blah." I like that's bullshit. I was like, "Come on, like who you fooling?" You know. So times like this is like I said, they run what is called the boyfriend destroyer, and let's see. Uh, Let me see if I can show the section of this. And I didn't want to get into this, but um, let's see if I can find that section. Okay, look at the table of content. Okay. Um, there we go. Boyfriend destroyers or girlfriend destroyers. Page 137. five. This is very important. So if you're TI, you're married, you're in a relationship, this is what they do to break up your relationship. All right. So again, boyfriend destroyers used to be clumsy and ineffective, but no more. But let's explore some new ways of prying apart relationship which actually work. These techniques make the boyfriend unappealing in her mind, which is more easily accessible, accessibly, and less risky goals than destroying him. Let's note that if she was extremely happy with her boyfriend, then she wouldn't really. Hold on a sec here. That's the doorbell. Okay. Got my headphones. Okay, so I had to go get the door. I was a package being delivered. Okay, so where we at? Um, okay, so it says let's note that if she was extremely happy with her boyfriend, then she wouldn't really be giving you the time of day, would she? Keep this in mind. You will convey to her that you're her real type of man, but without ever explicitly stating it. Below are some of the most common complaints from women with regards to their boyfriend. Your task is to find out which ones her boyfriend is displaying and frame the boyfriend in inferior terms because of it. Failure to commit, jealousy inspired arguments, physical or mental abusive behavior, not assertive enough in bed, being too predictable, wanting odd things in bed that she isn't into, acting too needy, acting withdrawn. With each of these situations, you can make them more prominent in a woman's mind by altering the visual, auditory, and kinesthetic features of how she perceived them. Okay, and so I'm not going to get into that, but I just wanted to uh, just touch on this part because it's important because this is what these people will continue to do on a daily basis, right? This is something that it is their job to do. Okay, and so when your loved one, your significant other, are being approached by these individuals, whether it be male or female, they are well versed in what it is that your significant other likes. They're being told the issue that you guys are having in your relationship, and also if your significant other has a particular type of person he or she likes, they will introduce them to that individual and feed that individual information to make that individual look very appealing, right? Or um, make it look like it's you know faith or what have you that you know this person approach your significant other and they started conversating or what have you. But this is what they do. Okay. All right. So also, I want to talk about this. This is another interesting article from The Verge, and it talks about Larry Bird claim they can recreate any voice just using just 1 minute of sample audio. Okay. Now, again, we all know as TIs that the government has perfected this. Okay. And so this is nothing new. Okay. And so they will create conversations using your voice to paint you in a bad light and spread it around as propaganda and rumors or negative propaganda and negative rumors about you. Okay. And so this article is from The Verge. Okay. And you guys should read it. Um, we talk about just this one company, but again, they've been working on this stuff forever. Okay, for not forever, but for a very long time. And even CGI now has become so real that you cannot tell fake from real. And I was talking to somebody the other day, and I was telling them, I said, when I worked as a photo, excuse me, when I worked as a photo retoucher, we used to take many different elements to create one image, and you couldn't tell, if it was real or not. Now, if they wanted to look as real as possible, we can do that, right? If they want to look, kind of fake, cartoonish, what have you, or depend on the style that the ad agency wants, we can do that too. And we've been able to do that since the 90s. Okay, we've been able to, you know, photo impose images together to make one image and do it convincingly. Okay, so these are some of the technologies that they're working on. Um, to kind of deceive you as this is being something that's just being developed. But these things have been developed for over 2 decades now. The ultrasound uh, technology, that's been decades. Like we're talking about 40, 50 years. They've been working on these things, including microwaves. All right, and so also Verizon, T-Mobile, Sprint, and AT&T hit with class action lawsuit over selling customers' data location. Okay, so here you go again. You got these companies; they're charging you all these exuberant fees in cell phone bills, and they're selling your personal data to companies. Okay, and you're not getting anything in return except for a high cell phone bill. Okay, so this article comes from Vice, uh, Vice.com, and I advise you guys to check it out and read it. Okay, so before we go on to the video, I want to talk about again this interpretation of views on reality manipulation, the workplace, the media, propaganda, brainwashing. And events or action, interpretation of events, reinforcement of interpretation, an event or reality, interpretation of this event or reality, reinforce of interpretation and view on reality. In the workplace, employees who are psychologically harassed or psychologically tortured are often described as having the wrong interpretation of events or having a perception problem, a bad attitude, and the wrong view of reality. They are then asked to consult a medical professional, a psychiatrist, and are then usually subsequently discredited and classified as having a psychological problem or mental illness. This is classic discrediting campaign used by the states. When I say the state, meaning the country, the government, and when they want to silence activists, dissidents, when they want to destroy the lives of whistleblowers. Uh, we see this in the NYPD also, where they use psychiatry to discredit police officers who complain about racism within the department, corruption within the department, and we've seen this played out over and over again. So it's not just us TIs, target individuals, uh, non-consensual human experimentees that are being discredited this way, but other individuals are also being discredited this way, right? So you may have seen this in the media where something will happen, the media will interpret it in a way that is false according to other media groups or to your understanding of events and evidence, and will then proceed to try to reinforce their view and interpretation on reality or events and evidence. Now this is Fox News here. They do this all the time. They distort reality, they lie to their viewers, and the viewers soak it all up. Okay? Now, controlling a victim's source of information and interpreting reality and event for the victim is also part of the brainwashing technologies. And this is how they brainwash the public, right? And so I'm not going to get too much into this because I want to get to the video. I don't want to make this. I don't want to make this video too long, but I just want to ask you guys to go to this page, psychologicalharassment.com, psychological manipulation, and read this section right here. Okay. Okay. So now let's go to the video. Okay. So this was 2 days ago. This was, I believe, Tuesday, and that was, here's the fire trucks. Noise campaign. All right, so this was Tuesday, and I was driving the kids to school. Okay. And I think, right, let's see, Tuesday. No, this is, actually, this was yesterday, if I'm not mistaken. 5/8, today's the 9th. Yeah, this was yesterday. Okay. So here I am taking the kids to school. Let's see here. Okay. All right. So, uh, so you see this guy standing over here to the left. You know, he's drinking coffee. Again, perpetrator at day stage right there. And so after I got out the car to take the kids to school, and actually, I don't think this was the 8th. This was Tuesday. The date on this is not correct. It's showing up in here. But anyway, all right. So on my way to go pick up Pam to take her to work, and you see as I pull out of into the street, he drops a white tissue that he had. Okay, he was drinking his coffee now. The minute as I pulled out, he drops the white tissue and then he empties his coffee. See that right there? He drops the white tissue. Now he didn't throw away the coffee cup, still in his hand. Okay. Now he emptied out the coffee on the sidewalk. Not in the gutter of the side of the street and the sidewalk, but on the sidewalk. Okay. Okay, so let's speed this up. Let's speed it up, but let's skip this stuff here. And because there's a few videos in here, and I just want to just show certain parts of this from what I remember. So you'll see. Okay. All right. So right here now. Let's go back again. Okay. All right. Now. I want you guys to watch the young girl right here, a teenager. As she gets close to me, she taps her nose. She does this. Again, I'm not trying to target anyone. Just showing you exactly what she is doing. Okay? She taps her nose right there. Then she looks at her phone. Now I want you to see. Let's go back. that's too far. Okay, all right, let's go back right here. Uh, okay, so okay, she approached. She does this, wiping her eyes, and then she taps her nose. Okay, and then you'll see the red theme play out as the woman with the baby stroller, she comes out wearing the red. Okay, all right, let's get past that now. Again, scripted event, and you'll see the red theme repeated here. Come on. All right. So you'll see. Let's go back here. See this young lady standing here. She is looking down. I think she had her phone in her hand. She's looking down. Okay, then see how she turns and she looks at me? Okay, you'll see her. She turns right here. She looks directly at me. Okay, and so now, again, these perpetrators, they work in tandem with one another. Sometimes two, three, four, even more. Okay, so now you see a guy in the red here again. Okay, and again, to try to mask their targeting, this is what they do. Right? Okay. Uh, okay, so let's. Okay, I'm not gonna do this video. Uh, let's do this one here. Okay, I want you to watch this construction worker here. And again, they work in tandem with one another. I want you to, the black guy right here in the orange or the red vest, and you'll see if you look at his hand, right, his hand facing towards me, not on the other side of him. You see as he walk past, he's going to flick and open his thumb, right, and then bring it back down. He's going to do it again here. Do it again. Okay, now watch the hand signals. Okay, see the three fingers, right? Watch it again. I wish I could play this in slow motion. Okay, right. I'm gonna try to pause it right there. With this thumb. Now, watch again that finger. Stick the pointed finger. Yeah. What is called I think it's the index finger. Again, I talk about that in my previous video, what that represents. Okay, and then watch the three fingers. See that? and then he pulls it back in. Okay. So again, this is the stuff that they do. These hand signals we talk about as target individuals because we've been conditioned to this. We've been brainwashed, basically. Okay. And then the use of the American flag. Again, the whole patriotism theme going on there. Okay. So let's okay, I think can move on. Let's see here. I'm not going to show this. Um, okay. Uh, so this was yesterday. This was actually Wednesday. Okay. So I was taking the kids to school and Pam to work. I didn't have to go back and pick up because she was actually ready for the first time in years. Okay. To leave the house together with the kids. Okay. So again, let's go back here. You'll see this person over here. If you look at the person wearing black across the street, okay, see as I approach, then you're gonna start the hand signals. She's looking directly at me, okay. All right, let's go. So I'm taking Pam to work right now, so that's where we're headed. And I'm not gonna point out a lot of the street theater. I'm just showing you guys my trip taking her to work. Okay, now this is on, like I said, taking her to work, dropped her off. I'm on my way back. Okay, now you get a police call. I think that's the police call. I think that's ambulances. Okay, so now still heading home, heading back home, and we get to this part right here. So over, so now, you're gonna see this theater that's gonna happen here, and I'm gonna explain to you guys and show you guys. Okay. So here's that vehicle here. There's no reason for this vehicle to even go forward. As you can see, there's a huge gap behind this vehicle. So why did this vehicle drill forward, only to reverse back to park directly in front of this video? I mean, in front of this vehicle. Okay, so he's sitting there now, got his hazard lights on, he's blinking. Okay, I want you to see that. Okay, so he puts on his, actually that was his indicator. He puts on his right, I'm sorry, the left indicator as to say that he's, you know, going to merge into the street. All right, then turns it off, reverse back. Okay, go forward again. This makes no sense. But it makes sense if you're a TI and you're able to recognize what's being done. So this pregnant woman here, okay, she's all part of the street theater. Okay, and now this woman with this dog is gonna come. Okay, she turns around, she looks at me, and then she's gonna look at the pregnant woman. Okay, now the pregnant woman, she takes her hands, puts it against her thigh, again with 4 fingers. Okay, then she starts to tug on her shirt. See right there? Okay, now while that was happening, the woman with the dog, and I'm gonna go back since I focus on the pregnant woman. So now let's focus on the woman with the dog. So she has her phone out in her hands. Okay, so she basically walked up and stood right here. Again, the person driving the vehicle, the pregnant woman, the woman with the dog, they're all working in tandem with one another. Okay. Okay. So now she didn't bring the dog there for the dog to take a pee or shit, you know. And so now she's gonna, as the light change, as I'm driving, she's gonna walk back to where she came from, and then watch she does the staring campaign. So now she's staring at me. Okay, as you can see. Okay. All right. So now, like I said, I'm on my way back to the house. Get to this intersection, which is the roundabout, which is leads. This is Flatbush and Eastern Parkway roundabout. Okay, and so now I'm going to start to see a heavy presence of police vehicle. So here's one. Okay, so now, as you can see, there's no cars in front of me. All right, let's go back. Okay, now watch what these criminals are going to do. Okay, these police officers. So now, as I'm approaching, now the unmarked police vehicle is going to make a U-turn in front of me. Now, he's no car was speeding, right? On this stretch of street, you're allowed to do 30 miles an hour. These cars coming in the opposite direction, they were not speeding. Again, this is for me. This is how they try to intimidate me. Okay. All right. Okay. So then you see as I approach and the intersection, same block now where the unmarked police car made the U-turn in front of me. You'll see a marked police car now. Okay. I want you to check this out. Okay. There to go. All right. So now, at this point, right here, the camera on the phone shuts off, right? And no matter what I did, I couldn't get it to turn back on. So I had to restart it. And when I restarted, I was approaching the intersection of Martins and Flatbush, where Pam lives, and I have to make the left. A police car came directly in front of me. Again, just like how that police car in the intersection, another police car came directly in front of me and turned onto Martins. Right now, like I said, my phone stopped working. I don't know what happened. I couldn't record anything. So I was able to restart the phone, and I said, you know what? Even though my phone stopped working and I didn't get the video footage of that police car coming directly in front of me and making the turn into the same block I was going to turn on, I'm going to still record it. So once my phone restarted, I started recording. And so what you see here now is the police vehicle that turned in front of me, okay, is right in front of this vehicle right here. Okay, now I couldn't get the license plate because this vehicle that was double parked on the block uh, drove in front of me, so I couldn't get the license plate of the police vehicle. But I was it. But still, here's the footage of that police car. You can see it is the police SUV with the lights on top of it. Okay, so I wanted to at least get that part. So again, you talk about the heavy presence of police. Okay, as I'm driving, I had just dropped Pam off to work and heading back to her house. Okay, and with see a heavy stretch of police present. And this is why yesterday when I talk about and she came in the house and she had like this attitude, you know, and the way she was acting, all cold and everything, and just acting very suspicious. And then, like I said, as we got into bed and I went to hug her, she pushes me off and tells me, "Don't touch me. I want to be left alone." And I'm like, "I just want to, to hug you, to hold you." And she's like, "I don't want to. Oh, I don't want to be touched." And I'm like, "Okay, all right." And now this morning again, now she want to act as if it didn't happen, right? So this is what they do, man. This is what they do. Okay. All right. So yeah. Okay. Well, that's it for the video. Um, I got to get ready to pick up the kids from school. They have after school today. So that's it for the video. I'll see you guys in the next one.